What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in once again. We are back. Salute to everybody. You know, you see it. It's Ron. It's John. We back, baby. It's Nick Talk, and nothing's happening. No, I'm just joking. Hopefully something's hoping. I'm hopeful. What?
I'm right there with you, man. All this gossip going on in every single space. I'm telling you, it's nonstop. I'm just sitting back, looking at it all, receiving all this information coming from all parts. I'm just, I'm just gonna sit back and just chill. I told you this a week ago. I knew this is what was gonna happen, Ron. I knew it.
I've been having look. This has been me all day. What? What? Nothing? Oh, okay. Like, what's going on here, man? I can't deal. It's gonna be okay, guys. Man. Well, hopefully y'all are having a great night. It's Monday night. It's the beginning of the week again. You know how sometimes Mondays are slow news days. So let's just hope that things move along. Even though some news did come out that's kind of negative on the Knicks end, who knows what to believe or not? We've been seeing so many different things. If the way I look at it, hey, if stuff came out that we thought was positive and we were gung-ho and we were running to it and look, nothing happened, let's look at it the same way when we hear the negative news too. Because guess what? It's nothing's happening until it's happening. So I'm chilling. Anyway.
I'm telling you, the day that Spider either gets traded to the Knicks or gets moved somewhere else, that's the day that I'm going to join every YouTube channel on NBK. Because I know we're going to have back-to-back. I think I'm just going to call out, and then I'm going to be on every single show.
It's going to be crazy.
Just to talk about it.
It's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts, especially if we get them. If we get them, it's going to be like we won something.
Oh, yeah.
You know how New York is always that way.
Yeah.
It is.
We don't know how to act.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, anyway, so let me give a quick shout out to the chat. Thank you guys. Man, y'all was cracking the whip. Where's the show? The show's not starting. Let's go. Y'all don't fool around, man.
9 p.m. I know.
Yeah.
We have to make sure our technical stuff was on point.
You know what I mean? Shout out to Andre Jackson. Appreciate you, brother. Almighty Finesse in the building. Trey Julius Randall is here. Big Task at Hand is here. Geraldine McIver, the first lady of Still Knick fans, in the building.
That's right.
Angel Torres is here. My guy, Noah, Clutch BBall TV is here. OCD Shaggy. Mike Lowe is in the building. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. So, like every Monday, at least especially in the off season, we try to give you guys special guests, someone extra to talk to give us, a different perspective on this Knick team, and give us a shot to be able to talk to somebody, get to know somebody. Sometimes it's been friends of the show you already know, but once in a blue, we bring somebody up here that's new or new to you, and you get to find out what they're doing, why they are in this Knick-centric space that we like to call it. So without further ado, I want to introduce
Not to mention, it breaks up our monotony. Like,
our
people get tired of seeing us too.
I mean, really, I got to see this guy outside of this, and I talk to him on the phone. It's enough. It's enough.
Yeah, it's enough. It's enough.
Anyway, so without further ado, you guys give a warm welcome. And I'll preface it like this. I didn't want to do this, but since she already did it, I'll do it. This is someone that has been big in the Twitter space, the Twitterverse, whatever you want to call it. And she's hosted a lot of different spaces and always given her, good takes on stuff and really involved people, got dialogue going, but no one's seen her. So this will be a reveal. So for those people who know her, know the voice, and excited to see, let's welcome Charlotte from Let's Talk Knicks in the Twitter sphere to the show.
Yes.
Hey.
Hi, everyone. This is my official face reveal, I guess. I did do one at 1,000 followers. I can't see the chat, so I don't know if people are surprised what I look like, but this is me. I'm Charlotte. I run Let's Talk Knicks on Twitter. Over 4,000 followers to date. Started it in 2020. Appreciate Ron and John for having me on here. Really do appreciate it. I'm excited to be here. Excited to talk Knicks. We had a space earlier today. Shout out Brutus and Spike Stan Lee if you're not following them on Twitter. My account is Let's Talk Knicks, but there's no other K, so it's just Let's Talk and then the NICKS on Twitter. If you're not following me already, excited to be here tonight. So that's me.
All right.
Welcome.
Well, thank you for being here and for giving yourself such a great intro. You knock out some of the questions I don't even have to ask. You can tell, guys, she is already skilled. She's got some media training here, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So well, no, it's good. It's great. Well, my first question to you was, and this is more of a general thing just for people who don't know, because I tell you, you'd be surprised. I think we should all, and let me say this to everybody, I think we should all continue to work together and understand that in the end, we are all Knick fans, right?
Knick fans.
But I feel like sometimes you see a divide. There's the podcasters versus the Twitter spaces. There doesn't need to be that, because I'll tell you one thing. I know for myself, John, Jose, whoever we do shows with, the NBK family, and that's a big family, whoever we're doing podcasts with, we don't talk about Twitter spaces as another entity or, we just big it up, say what it is.
We're all fans.
For whatever reason, sometimes on Twitter, I feel like they think like we're separate. We're not separate. We just do things. Twitter is vocal, more audio. And YouTube is visual and audio, so it's just different. That's all. But we're all here together. We're all Knick fans. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I agree. I think Twitter Spaces, sometimes when I've gotten feedback from people, it's like me when I started my account. I actually didn't want my identity to be out there because I was scared as a girl. Like, it's a male-dominated field in sports, so like, why not just condense it to Twitter under a profile picture? People only hear my voice. No one will see my face. But I think with YouTube, it's very different. I see the people I interact with are usually just on Twitter, and now expanding it to the YouTube. They start on Twitter and then go to YouTube. Right now, Let's Talk Knicks is only on Twitter. I want to expand it, but that's upcoming projects, obviously. But right now, we're just on Twitter. I have a whole team. Shout out to everyone. I don't know if they're listening, but I have a whole team on LTK, and I think sometimes people think YouTube is different because I guess it's a different audience. I don't know. Like, I feel like after post games or pre games, like I'll have a pre-game show and a post-game show just on Twitter. And then some people will go to the YouTube side, but don't come to the Twitter side. If that makes sense, people don't cross. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. No, I hear what you're saying. So let me ask you. I don't know how long have you been doing Twitter Spaces?
So the account started December 2020. Funny story, I actually always wanted to own a Twitter account. I wanted to get into just interact with other Knicks fans. I've been a diehard fan since I was born. My family's been fans since 1970. I've been immersed in all of the Knicks content everywhere, but I've never really tapped in. But I started Spaces. I was nervous to start them because people could tell by my voice I was a girl. And I thought I was going to get judged from that. In the beginning, I did get judged. Hardcore, people like, why do you sound like a girl? Girls don't belong here, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Twitter and YouTube. Those are OCD Shaggy. Shout out to you. Twitter and YouTube is go-to. I feel like those are the two main platforms. But yeah, I didn't start Spaces until I would say maybe early 2021 or somewhere around there. I remember going on my first space and I opened up, I requested to speak, and I was so scared because I was like, I don't know how to do this. I only tweet, I don't do spaces. And everyone was like, your voice sounds funny. Are you a guy or a girl? And I was like, next question. Let's just talk Knicks. I don't need to say my gender. But obviously, as time gone by, people have started to respect me and understand that it's okay to not be a male in this industry. And I think it is a male-dominated industry, but I'm trying to pioneer the way for more Knicks female fans, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we got to continue that because you got to give, I think all fans, whether you're male or female, at the end of the day, it's about, your fandom for your team. And I think it's important that we allow the space, the open space for folks, both female and male, to have open dialogue around the team that they follow. I think it's important for everyone to understand that both young and old also have the space there as well, because I think in the Twitter world and YouTube world, some elderly people may have been there for the heyday of our Knicks, been there for the 72 season, but aren't really versed in, or tech savvy, right? And so they may fall short of being able to have that dialogue as well. And I know for Ron, and you can speak to this on our Saturday show, you have the ability to, open those doors for folks to come in who aren't so tech savvy, and provide them a space to have that conversation around the Knicks. And it's basically what we're about. The reason why we call it Still Knicks Fans is for that reason. Everyone who has gone through the 30 years with the Knicks, if not more, has been through it all, the good, the bad, and, the ugly. It's just what it's been.
Trust me, I hear stories from my brother or my dad, this happened, and all these rumors with Spida, which we'll talk about later, but Spida, and back then all these players want to come, but then it's LOL Knicks, and I explain terms to them that I hear on Twitter, I'll be explaining to them the other day, Knicks for clicks. No one understands that because they didn't have that when that happened. So right. I think Knicks for clicks was a big thing I was explaining. Also, I think just the new age of Twitter Spaces is so new. Back then we didn't have when they were on Twitter, Twitter never had this. It was always, I don't know, the other networks that people were using, but I think that now with Twitter Spaces, it's really opened a tunnel for more people that don't have the means to open a YouTube channel or a podcast or any of these other networks to actually have their voice heard. I know at Let's Talk Knicks, what I do, if you request to speak at my space, you're going to speak. Don't care. I feel like I'll always remember my first couple spaces. Someone's like, I didn't get to speak. I was on requested for 30 minutes. And from that time on, I made it my passion that if you request, unless you're not a troll or hating on my speakers or my co-hosts, you will speak. So that's one of my mottos, I think, for Let's Talk Knicks is giving everyone a voice. It doesn't matter how many followers or if you're not liked for your takes. It does not matter to me. I think that everyone should be able to be heard. So that's my take.
Right. That's really dope. That's really cool. And that's I think that's how all these spaces, should, and anything when you're in a situation where you have that, where people can request to speak, they should all at some point be allowed the opportunity to speak if you can. I know sometimes And I'm going to assume that that's going to happen even more as time goes by. Your spaces are going to just get huge and bigger, and it's going to be a little tougher to manage. But at least the good part is that you try your best to include everybody. And I've noticed that when I have coming in and out of your spaces compared to some others where you're lucky. You're lucky if you get a chance to say anything. It's tough. So I hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think a couple days ago we had a space when the jazz radio host news started, and I was just in Apple store trying to get a new iPhone because my phone wasn't charging. And someone's like, oh, yeah, you got to go live. You got to go live. Like, there's jazz saying that the deal's done. I went live in the period of 20 minutes. We had over 400 people. And I'm like, what is going on between jazz fans DMing me and tagging me out? Let's talk Knicks. Look at this tweet from Andy Larson. Look at this tweet from Tony Jones. I'm like, okay, now I understand why some people do YouTube because it's more controlled. And I think that was that. And like whenever news happens in the Knicks, let's just say hypothetically, we get Donovan Mitchell, Twitter space is going to light up, YouTube's going to everything is just going to explode. And I think you bring up a good point. I think spaces sometimes get out of control. I think a lot of spaces, what happens, in my opinion, when I'll just go in just to listen, they'll invite me to speak, and I'm like, I just want to listen. Like, I want to give other people, like, you know, like, you guys hear me all the time. Let them speak. But I think also sometimes they do get out of control, and people yell at each other. Like me and Brutus, I don't know if Brutus is on here, but we yelled at each other tonight about Jaden Ivey, about how the Knicks should have gotten him or we couldn't have gotten him because we don't have enough draft picks. But I think spaces sometimes can get very toxic. Shout out to the Toxic Boys, make their brand. But I think YouTube sometimes, that's why I'm leaning towards sometimes in the future doing YouTube. But I think spaces do get out of control, especially when like post game, when we lose hard. If we have a Julius Randle bad game, an RJ Barrett bad game, you already know people are coming into my space or any spaces for that matter, yelling their everything off. So I don't know. Right. I do agree that sometimes they do get out of control. So
yeah. I will tell you, YouTube can be just as toxic, but Twitter, people have a little bit more freedom to really express themselves the way they want to. So it can be a different animal. That I notice. I see. Yeah.
Yes.
And you know, it's an interesting space. I've been in those spaces before, like just listening in, and I've noticed that, you know, I wouldn't even call it debates, right? I would call a lot what happens is like more like disagreements, you know, of people's opinions. And so people take their opinions so gospel like, right? And it's like they can't be wrong because in their minds they aren't wrong. And so they're steadfast to say their opinion and make it sound like it's factual, unless you're like pointing out situations that actually occurred in the history of the Knicks. I usually listen in and I'm like, well, this is just like out of control, I don't believe to know a lot about, more than someone else as far as the Knicks are concerned. I'm an avid watcher of the Knicks. I don't tend to act like I'm someone who, follow the stats or, am looking these things up as, someone who would do it for a living. No, this is, for me, it's fun, it's leisure. So I'm not too concerned. I just try to enjoy watching these Knicks play, whatever team comes on the court, and reaching out to my brother Ron and saying, "Hey, how did we fare this in this game? Do you think we're going in a positive direction, or are we falling backwards again? And these are the conversations we would have even prior to us creating a channel, because the reality for us is that we were going to talk Knicks regardless because we're best friends, we're close friends. We've known each other since we were young.
No. You said it right the first time.
Right.
Yes,
that's really nice.
Friends, yes.
And we've been friends. We are brothers, and we have a group of us that are brothers as well. Some of them are not Knicks fans. So Ron and I happen to have that camaraderie where when we're talking Knicks and another friend of ours is like bashing on us, we're the ones who are defending the Knicks. So we have that so much in common.
I think that like a lot of people I know, like my account has been like reached out to like someone to buy the account or to sponsor the account, the spaces to like get their ads out. And I think that, sometimes spaces just get really like Brutus, shout out to you. I just saw your comment. I think lifelong Knicks fans are very passionate, and I love them, everyone to death. But I think sometimes, yes, almighty finesse. Sorry, I need more female content. That's great point. That is why I started Let's Talk Knicks, because I want more females. I feel like it's so dominated. I know we're switching subjects, but women in sports is definitely something I'm super passionate about. When I started Let's Talk Knicks, people were, especially I'm sure now after I do a face reveal and people are like, oh, you actually are a girl. I'm surprised. Yeah, I wasn't lying. Why would you lie about that? Because then that gets your credibility. But I think lifelong Knicks fans are great. And I think that there's so many great content creators, especially podcasts, YouTube, whatever network, that need more showing off instead of just, I wish, in the off season, I'm seeing a lot of people hating on each other and, troll accounts and whatever. And I think that we all root for the same team. Let's just all get along and be all together. And look, we're having still Knicks fans and Let's Talk Knicks collabing right now. I'm sure there could be so many more other accounts that are collabing. Just be nice to each other. It's so simple. Just treat people how you want to be treated. That's my thing.
Absolutely. And there's a point to be said about you don't have to agree on everything. You know what I mean? Like you could have a disagreement with someone, but still be respectful to someone, exactly. That you're sharing a space with, and I think that's the most important thing that I look for.
I agree. And I think that especially I see it in spaces, someone will give their take and someone will just attack them, not publicly in the space, in the DMs. One of my followers actually last night DM'd me and was like, hey, Charlotte, just wanted to let you know, this person was really attacking me and I did not appreciate that. I won't be coming to your spaces ever again. And I was obviously we resolved it and he's going to come back to do it again, but I can't, it gets very toxic very quick when I think people jump on each other. That's my thing. And I think that people need to understand everyone has a different opinion. Everyone sees the game differently. Everyone sees players differently or picks or whatever it is. And I think that we just need to all be nice to each other. And I think in the off season, we're seeing a lot more. I've been covering the Knicks on the LTK account for 2 years. I think this is the worst it's been that I've seen. So,
wow. Well, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's tough for everyone to be nice to each other because there's so many differences in opinion and the passion is different for people. But what I will say is we all need to be respectful of each other. And the other thing is, listen, when you think about it, what are we all arguing about? We're arguing about the Knicks. Guess what? In the end, one, they're players who are paid to do a job. They're still getting paid millions of dollars or even thousands of dollars, way more than the average person. They're comfortable. They've got their own stresses, but they're living their life. We're arguing about them and the product, but we're arguing against each other, and we're the fans. So
I know.
We just got to think about that sometimes. We got to look at it like the big picture is, hey, we all see, guess what? You argue with me, you mad about something, but then the Knicks still lost. They still got blown out. I feel the pain too.
Right.
And I think us content creators, there's a lot of casuals that we like to call them casuals, but I think a lot of the Knicks fans don't understand when you're hating on someone, mental health is really important. I take it very seriously, and I know a couple friends that have gone through things. I think if you just support, let them talk, let them finish their take, and then you can comment back. But there's no need to start a troll account or start hate in the DMs because it really can take a toll. I know when I first started LTK, for 1,000 followers, I promised my followers I would do a face reveal. I did a face reveal at 1,000 followers. If you scroll all the way back in my account, I don't know if anyone wants to do that, but if you do, and people were in my DMs, you're a girl, you don't belong here. This is a guy's thing. Girls don't belong. It's crazy.
That's
Look,
out of
people,
control.
I expected it, and that's why I was at first never wanting to start a personal account because I knew people would. But after I did this face reveal, now everyone probably is watching. Probably start a personal account that I can join from others and link it to the LTK account. Right. But I think we have just a lot going on in the Knicks community. I'm sure we could talk about tonight. But yeah.
Well, I mean, that's it. It's unfortunate and sad that you, as well as other females in the Twitterverse and probably in all types of media, have to go through that and deal with those type of issues. wish things were different, but it's the world is a crazy place, and it seems to be getting crazier every day. So hopefully the ones that are here that we're talking to, the people that support this show, I know are good people. The people that came over to support to see you here, they're good people because they did that.
Yes,
so you know
of course. I have a bunch.
We got to work together.
I have a lot of followers that are very loyal. It's what I'm talking about is a small, very like less than 1%.
No, of course, yeah.
But I have some, I'm sure, I can't see the chat, but I'm sure there's some loyal followers right there. If you guys have questions or just want to say hi, throw it in the chat so I can see them. Jose can throw them at me. But if you guys have questions, people who haven't met me before, if you have questions about, maybe if you want, like last week I inspired a girl to start her own NBA account. I was flabbergasted. I was like, wow, actually inspired. Like that has a mental, like, wow, you just inspired someone to start their own account because you were showing that you were a girl. And I think that's really cool. But yeah,
it makes you feel good. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Outside of just talking and being able to talk about the Knicks, doing something that's positive and someone can view it positively, that's great. I mean, we love that stuff. So
of course.
Look at all the love that's coming in. Look, we all know orange and blue. John Talento.
Yep.
And you know what? Let me do this real quick because I'm just gonna go. Jose's popping them up on the screen. I'm just going to go to the chat and just start calling off a couple more names that I've seen. Give them a little love. Salute to JJ in the building. Knicks for life. My guy Chuck Allen is here. Appreciate you, brother. And he obviously he knows who you are too, Charlotte. He sees you in Twitter. Guitar in the Breeze is here. Who else did I see here? Obviously Brutus Gorham is in the building. What's up, Brutus?
Oh, Brutus is amazing. You guys got him on as a guest. He's great. We started like an account and we're gonna do spaces together. It's great. I think that Brutus is great. If you guys want to talk to someone who's actually very knowledgeable and has been in the Knicks world forever, great guy. Personally, know him. He's great.
Oh yeah,
Brutus.
And that's why honestly I don't jump into a lot of spaces, but I've jumped into some spaces that you've had, and I jump into spaces when I can for Brutus because Brutus sends me a personal invite in my inbox. We're also in a Nick group chat thing together, so I can see what's going on, and I try to support. But it's tough, man, because there's spaces happening every day, and I got stuff going on. So,
shout out to. I have a Knicks group chat that's very lively. I don't know. I think sports. What's up, Stan? I have a Knicks group chat. Shout out RJ Barrett Fan Club. It's a very lively group chat. We talk everything. I think never a day that is boring in that group chat. But I think there are some great content creators on Twitter. The small percentage that put you down, you just have to look past. And I think that, yes, Twitter and YouTube collide. Amazing. Yeah. I think it's great that we're doing this, guys.
Shout out Brooklyn Buddha.
Definitely want to talk. Yeah, shout out Brooklyn Buddha. I'll start shouting. When I read comments, I'll start shouting you guys out. But Brutus and Stan, thanks for supporting me. I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, nice. Hussein Shabazz, appreciate you. I think I hit all the other names earlier. Kevin Middleton, I see you.
If you guys have questions that you want us to talk about for Knicks, put them in the chat. I know everyone wants to talk about Spider, so I'm sure we'll touch on it.
Yeah. So, speaking of that, here's my question. First question. Okay. First real Nick question. Okay. Nick question. Can Leon Rose get the deal done? And you know what? Let me start with John first, and then I'll go to you, Charlotte, because that is a question. I mean, listen, there's a lot of back and forth here, but even throughout the back and forth, his tactics, Danny Ainge's tactics, can he get it done? What do you think, John?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for coming. It's been a great show.
I told you, I'm just going to wait and see. I don't, in my opinion, I think it'll get done. I don't know when. I don't know how. I don't know for how many picks. I don't know for whom. I'm going to sit back, wait and see. What I hope to see happen is that we could keep a handful of our core young players and move from there.
Okay. I respect it. What do you think, Charlotte?
Okay. So we've talked about this a lot on Twitter for people that don't listen to me. So my stance on Spida. I got pretty excited when this radio show host was talking. I was like, okay, he leaked something. He was right in 2013. He was right about a player. He's right about a GM stepping down. My Utah fans in the chat were saying, this guy's credible. He's great. We'll see what happens. And then I kind of came down because I thought, yeah, there's nothing else there. Woj would have had some Jets fan account talking about how he heard that it was done that night. I don't know. Brutus and Stan and I were hosting a space. But my stance on Spida, Danny Ainge cannot go into the season with Donovan Mitchell on his team, because he needs to tank for Victor Wembanyama. This kid is special, from France, amazing. I think he'll be a superstar in this league, no doubt. Will be the number 1 pick in the draft. Number 2, he needs to capitalize on the value that Donovan Mitchell holds. He is a 3-time All-Star, 25 years old. You got to get that value, and he cannot be on your team. You got to get those picks. What I talk to a lot of Jazz accounts on DMs or spaces, whatever, we're not going to escape. If we make a deal, we're not going to escape with Obi, Grimes, and IQ all being on this team. It's just a fact. I'm sorry, Knicks fans. It's just not going to happen. Grimes is good as gone if it happens. He didn't play in the Drew League. He was supposed to play yesterday at 3 p.m. according to one of the Twitter, I think Mark Medina. Shout out to him for reporting that. But he didn't play. I think they just didn't want him to risk injury. But you're not going to escape. I think what's going to happen, it's going to be 3 unprotected firsts, a couple swaps, and then Evan Fournier for salary, because we have to add in $24.2 million to make the contract work. You could add in, if they want Rose. I don't see Rose going. I think he has such a great relationship with the front office. I don't think that's going to happen. Grimes is good as gone. Sorry, Knicks fans, going to repeat it. And then I think one of the two, IQ or Obi, might be gone. I personally want to keep Obi, because Knicks, there have been reports, again, nothing's confirmed, but if we do get Spida, I don't see Julius Randle also being on this team. So that's where it gets really interesting. If you move Julius Randle, then you could start Obi in that power forward position, but then the Utah Jazz also want him. So it gets very confusing, but there's just way too much smoke. Too much smoke. There's got to be a fire somewhere. I don't think, if it does happen, it's not going to be it's going to be last second. Like, literally maybe the week before training camp. Training camp, for those that don't know, it's going to be, yes, I know, John, trust me, I know my stuff. I read every single day. I have a notebook right next to me that I take all my notes from. Shout out D's World of Hoops. Yes. I'll keep going, but I think it happens if so training camp's in end of September 31st. So you could see a trade maybe beginning of September. I think we're going to be waiting this entire month. It's all going to be rumors. Woj, the Knicks are not talking. Oh, they're talking to the Raptors. Woj sent out a report today at 2:31 in the morning. Who's up at 2:30? Not me. I know I'm not. I got to work a job, but I think that we're gonna see. I really wholeheartely think Leon's not gonna let Spida go, because we have 11 first-round picks. We have 11. Sorry, just had to make sure I got my facts right. 11 first-round picks in the next 7 years. You're not going to draft all those. Shout out Ari from Manhattan, who's usually on Twitter saying, keep them picks. We're not going to keep these picks, guys. We got to trade for someone. We got to get that star. That's just my take. Yeah.
That's a hell of a take. That's a hell of a take, yeah.
Sorry, it's a lot.
Do you have a mic you could drop? Because we need, that's a drop the mic type of.
Yeah, listen, let me tell you something. One of the things that we love doing at Still Knick Fans is, obviously, we want to bring people on that everybody wants to see. That, if I could get John Starks in here, you know how excited I would be? That's like my favorite Knick of all time, of course. So I would love to do stuff like that, right? Then there's other people. There's fellow podcasters that you guys are familiar with. Love to support them, bring them on, have them plug their show, all that. And then there's new people that people may not be aware of. that just are starting out, or maybe they have a platform that you don't use too often. Maybe they have a Twitter space. But one thing I will tell you, everybody that we bring on Still Knick fans is somebody who we know is a Knick fan for real, and or they know their stuff. And so, and obviously, a lot of times it's both. So shout out to Charlotte. Let's talk Knicks. She runs some tight spaces. She be spitting out some stuff, man. So yeah, don't get it twisted. She knows the stuff. So
promise, I know there's a big narrative. I think there's a big narrative that females they just like think that they should they try and know the sport, but they don't know. I played basketball my entire life. I was captain of my high school team. I might get my number retired at my high school. Who knows?
Wow.
But I definitely been following the Knicks for a long time. I know my stuff. I'm excited to talk because I want to get your opinion. What is a realistic package you guys see for Spida? I don't see where 3 of our young guys, I know we all love them. We love them to death and we need to keep them. Do you guys see them like staying on this team? What do you guys think?
You want to hit that, John? Yeah.
I was interested. I'm glad that you spoke up about you playing basketball because I see all the trophies behind you, and I was like, I know this got to be some of hers. That's awesome. Yes. That's awesome. Love that you play. Is it high school sports? Have you touched the collegiate level at any point?
Okay, well, this is a fact no one knows about me. I was actually approached to play Penn State women's basketball. I declined it because I wanted a real college experience. I go to Syracuse. Shout out Orange. Love them. Yes, Knicks fan for life. Oh, damn, you're a baller, huh, Sean? I played shooting guard my entire life. I just wanted like a real college experience. I didn't want to like focus all my stuff on. It's not like I was getting to the WNBA or something crazy like that, but I definitely love basketball, and I'm wholeheartedly a big Knicks fan. So, that's
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So to answer that question, I'm in agreement with you. So I do believe that there's going to be a few of our young core that needs to be a part of this package. Whether that be OB and IQ, I think that may be more of what Utah is asking for. I'm not sure if Leon Rose is willing to give away both of those guys. But I do see an opportunity for them to remove OB and keep IQ in a package with Grimes or with Cam, maybe the 3 of them. I could see that happening again with Fournier as a part of the money, the salary to make it happen. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I do believe that 2 of the 3 may be gone in the coming future.
And as much as it hurts, I think that you got to give to get. That's one of my main things. Like, you want a 3-time All-Star that's 25 years old? Okay, you're going to have to ship some guys off. And we also need to know our personnel that we're dealing with. We're dealing with Danny Ainge. This guy doesn't mess around. We saw that Celtics Brooklyn trade. He's not going to take a bad package. He doesn't lose trades. That's what I'm trying to say. He doesn't do a trade where it doesn't make sense and where he's not coming out on top. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in agreement with John as well, and what you said. Danny Ainge definitely wants as much as he can get, but I do think that's where part of the stalemate is they don't want to part with too much young talent. If say there's 4 valuable young pieces, if that's the case, the Knicks don't want to give up all 4. They may do 2 because they may have to do 2, but they're not doing 4. And I feel like right now Utah is asking for 4. And that's the problem. Mm-hmm. And even if not 4, they're asking for 3. And I just don't. You don't want to. Is Spida worth it? Maybe not. The price has kind of gotten a little inflated because of what happened with the Minnesota deal. Because prior to that deal, the amount of picks and players that would get you a star type player was not to that level. And even the fact that you got that type of haul for Rudy Gobert, it is what it is. But I just think that Leon is trying to bring things back into perspective, and he knows that what's the point of bringing Spida in, and then you have a good starting 5, but you've depleted most of your bench. and then you got to bring in question marks. Like too many question marks is not a good thing for any team. Yeah, and you know, that's one thing. If they traded for Spider, most likely you got to fill out maybe 4 or 5 spots on the roster. Right now, the Knicks got 2 spots they have to fill without doing anything. Then if you trade Spider and you throw a couple players in there, 2, 3, 4, like, you know, that's a lot of different spots to fill up. Bringing in new guys who don't know the system, and most likely these guys are marginal talents. You know, you can't necessarily depend on them. They can be rotational pieces that can give you some minutes, but you can't depend on them. So who are you going to turn to when your starters get out and you need the bench to keep you in the game and continue to score some points to stay in? You know, like that's a tough proposition. So I think that's one of the big things that's holding things up. And we'll see. It's a game of chicken right now.
It's a little ridiculous. I want to respond to trade Julius Randle. His offer is Grimes, Obi, Cam, Evan, 7 first-round picks, 3 swaps. So is the 3
and chopped cheese.
Cheese and Spike Lee. So just to address yours, the Jazz are actually not interested in Cam Reddish, according to reports. So that wouldn't work. You would probably, to make this offer, another problem I see with it is that the Knicks are not willing to give up 7 first-round picks. With 3 of them swaps, because that Washington pick, that Milwaukee pick, and the other pick that we have are top 16, top 18 protected. So the Jazz are not getting the value that they want in those first-round picks. So if a trade to dress your package, Cam Reddish would probably still stay on this team. I don't think he's kind of just a throw-in. Grimes and Obi, Evan for salary. I think your problem is right now with trade Julius Randle is that the Knicks are not willing to give up 7 first-round picks. I think they're more in the range of 4 to 5, but just to address that.
Yeah.
And a chop
we know we know a lot about trade Julius Randle. He comes on, he watches our show. But what's funny about this is that he likes to joke around. So the 7 first-round draft picks, I'm sure, was a push to kind of hand off the chopped cheese and Spike Lee, by the way, which I wouldn't mind, moving both.
If you guys want to throw actual packages, throw them my way. I'll tell you if they'll probably work or not. I think.
I actually thought the Grimes, Obi, Cam, Evan, the 7 picks was the fake stuff, and the chopped cheese and Spike was the real deal. Like
that's the real deal.
Danny Ainge just gotta try a chopped cheese. Come on, you're not in New York,
right. New York. There was something I was gonna say. I had it. I lost it that quick. Oh, Cam. Yes. Man. Yeah, now it makes sense that Utah doesn't want Cam. They don't want Cam or RJ because at the end of this year, they have to pay them. They're commanding a salary.
Right. The Jazz want picks, and they want players on rookie scale deals. They do not want RJ Barrett to deal with next year that you have to pay 5 years, $190 million. That's just not what they want to do. They want to tank for, without even saying it, but tank for Victor Wembanyama. If you haven't watched him yet, go look up Victor Wembanyama. It doesn't matter how you spell it, it will come up. 7'5". He can play any position. He's great, but I think that it's just crazy. I think I've had a headache so much from so much Spida talk that also with Cam this is a big year for him. He was traded for a Charlotte first-round pick. The Knicks traded away a first-round pick to Atlanta. And to be honest, there's this big debate on Twitter, I know on YouTube. Cam, Grimes, who do we start? I don't know what's going on with those two. And it's a big debate. It's definitely a big divide. It's a huge debate on Knicks Twitter from my side of things, I think. Cam has to play better this season. If he wants to get paid, if he has an okay season, I don't think he's going to get re-signed by the Knicks. I know they gave up a first-round pick. You could see him maybe being moved to the trade deadline and Knicks maybe flipping him for like a pick swap or maybe a vet player just on an expiring deal. But if the Knicks are trying to make like a playoff push for a play-in spot. But I think Cam, a lot of haters, a lot of lovers. I know, shout out the Cam fam, as they call themselves, but big year for him. So we'll see what happens.
Well, here's the great thing, Charlotte, about this is that if this trade happens, this will all work itself out, because if Grimes goes in the package, and Evan goes in this package, this allows the opportunity for the Knicks to sort of play who you have on your roster. And Cam evidently will probably be a part of that roster to start the season. And then he'll get an opportunity to show his worth. He is one of those guys who has all the physical attributes, and just hasn't all put it together in the NBA. And I think he can do that. I think he would have an opportunity with the Knicks if he starts the season with us to show his worth, and be a good balance off the bench, if not as a starter, depending on how they want to mix and match the rotation. I don't necessarily know, but I assume if you bring in Spider, that RJ would then move to the 3. And so Cam will take a backseat to both Spider and RJ Barrett coming off the bench.
I 100% agree. And I think people don't understand. A lot of NBA fans are like, why are you going to get Spider? Like, you're not in championship contend mode. It makes zero sense. No one ever said this is like, at least I didn't say this, that if we get Spider, we're a championship contender, we're winning everything. No one ever said this is a step in the right direction. And I think that we all need to understand that once one star comes here, they all start to follow. Who's going to Utah for Donovan Mitchell? I'm sorry, but I'm not moving to Utah for Salt Lake City. Happy Pioneer Day this past weekend. Happy. I was in the space. I was being explained Pioneer Day because I've never heard of it before. But I think that if Spider comes to New York, he's a long Met fan. His dad works in the Mets organization. It just makes a lot of sense. But if Spider, according to Woj, what he put out today, saying that he wants to win for a win now team, I don't know how much I believe of that, though. I really don't, because I think if you turn the Knicks into a contender, you are God. You will be God. The Knicks fans will bow down to you. The NBA world will be like, you turn the Knicks around. That's a historical franchise with so much history. And I think that if Spider comes to New York, it's a game changer. Not that in a championship contend mode, but for the future to go get someone in 2025, because that free agency class, woof, crazy. Really special.
Yeah, you know what that sounds like, that Woj report? That sounds like agent talk. You know when agents get their heads in the game and they're like, they got to put something out there? You know what it is.
Stop doing it, man. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Oh, you was about to say.
And what I've noticed is that no New York reporter has put out anything. I think this is all pressure by Ainge to get Leon to come up. I did on my space the other day. I think that Ainge called up Leon, was like, hey, can you raise your offer? I'm just going to blast you with a lot of rumors from Woj and Shams. I'm just going to pay them a little bit. And then, no, you won't turn. Okay. So I'm going to call Shams right now, and he's going to tell you that all these teams are interested and Spider doesn't want to come to New York. Okay, great. Thanks. And then hangs up the phone. It's all pressure. It's all pressure from Ainge. I really don't believe that any of
I don't.
Charlotte Hornets, who are you giving?
I wouldn't buy into it too deeply. It's a slow media time, and this is the greatest time where media can be used as mouthpieces to push initiatives or narratives that organizations want to do, because in the end, it's all business,
Exactly.
New York
it's all
market, ratings.
Yep, ratings, all for sure. Also, that I read that Shams article he posted today, and in my opinion, it was very Utah biased. I think he was heavily favoring.
One second, Charlotte. Before you say that, hold that thought. Let me just do this real quick, because I want to show some love to people real quick before I forget. Shout out to Edwin Torres. Shout out to Wendell Keller. Appreciate you. These World of Hoops, I think I already shouted you out. I'm going to shout you out again, brother. Knicks will be 2026 NBA champs. Shout out to New York Knicks. Shout out to
2026. Oh, pressure.
Yeah. Hey, you never know. Danny Landis in the building. Danny said, do you think we will get Spider? Yeah, I still feel like we're going to get Spider. I know it's very you got a lot of agina right now. It's right here, right up in the throat. I know it's tough. It's a tough time. Just bear with it. Shout out to some dude. Oh, what's good? So appreciate you, some dude. Thank you for being here. Canal Band Laya in the building. Let me see. Nice is in the building. Was good. Hold on. Let me just. I'm speeding through, guys. I'm speeding through. Let me see.
Spam the chat, guys. Spam the chat.
Yeah, Darley's in the building. My guy C_Mac is in the building. What's good, Darley? C_Mac. And I just wanted to do all of that to give people some love because I wanted to get to the generous super chat by my guy Jay Boogie. Appreciate you, brother, as always. Thank you for the generous super chat. We appreciate you so much, man. The closer in the building. All right. Sorry, Charlotte. Hopefully you remember what you were going to say. And shout out to Bricks Nation. I see you. Hopefully you remember what you were going to say.
Well, I don't remember what I was about to say.
It was about, I know we were talking about the agent talk and New York media being sort of where the clicks happen.
Yeah, so basically what I've seen, like the two Utah Jazz reporters, Tony Jones and Andy Larson on Twitter, put out a lot of stuff. And then when that Jazz reporter came out, Andy Larson kind of at the end was like, I don't know if it's true, if the deal's done. I don't know. And I've never seen a reporter being like, I don't know. I haven't seen our reporters like Ian Begley or Steve Popper or Bondi or Fred Katz or like no one's putting anything out. It's all from the Jazz side. And I find that really interesting because Ian Begley, it's very interesting to me to see he's putting out a lot of stuff that's like 2 days old. He's like from earlier or like, I want him to put more recent news. I don't know I guess it's just slow, but I really appreciate them not putting any like rumors or like anything because Twitter right now on a daily basis, if there's any piece of news, NBA trade report or I don't even know, like some Scoop B, I don't even know what's happening on Twitter sometimes, but there's a lot of false rumors. Like it's crazy. Jack Settleman, all these names have come up from the trade rumor report, and it's like instead of trade machine, it's trade rumor report. That's my opinion. So
Right. And let me tell you, I think what Ian Begley and a couple others are doing, especially on the New York media side, they know, I mean, they cover the New York Knicks. They know how much of a crazy town this can be, and especially when you're trying to catch a star, right? And the fans are getting in an uproar. We want to see it happen. There's a lot of pressure tied to it. But I think they're also kind of living up to what they've been saying. Like Ian Begley put out a report a while ago when he talked about the whole trade. Before he even put his little package out there with these different options and scenarios, before that, he had said, well, it's going to be a little bit of a process. I don't think it's going to happen overnight. We've got the NBA Summer League. And usually after the Summer League, there's a 2-week window where a lot of executives go on vacation. So he didn't think anything was going to be happening. So it makes sense that he's not going to keep flooding it with information if he knows there's no substance behind it. So I kind of respect that, and I'm okay with that. But I think even though I knew that, I'm still going crazy because everything I hear, I'm like, oh, wait, is it happening? Did they change their mind? Like, is it real? We got to get out of our own spaces, in our mental spaces. We got to calm down. It's crazy. The other thing I was going to say,
the New York Knicks front office, since they've come together most recently, have been really tight-lipped. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And we just got to take that for what it is. They haven't really been outspoken. They haven't really spoken to reporters that openly about what's their process. So we just gotta take it in stride.
And I don't think Leon, ever since he's taken office, no leaks have been out. I know a lot, like when the Phil Jackson era, everyone knew KP was going to come to the Knicks because Phil Jackson. And then there are leaks of Jeff Hornacek. Some people in the organization actually wanted to draft Spida or Devin Booker. And then there was offers on the table for trading KP for Devin Booker or Jaylen Brown. It's just crazy. I think this office, a lot of people on Twitter will be comparing the moves of Phil Jackson to Leon Rose. And in my opinion, that's not really fair. They're completely different regimes. You can't be comparing, oh, we didn't get Jaden Ivey. I bet Phil Jackson would have done a better job. What? Like, my DM, like, what are you talking about? So confusing, but I have no idea.
Yeah, it's crazy right now. Shout out to William Turnbull. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining the chat and always supporting the show. Definitely can't tell you how much we appreciate that support. So I don't want to get you guys upset in the chat, but something. And I don't know if it bothers you the way it bothers me. I was, here working from home today and doing a couple things. And, I like to have Knicks stuff in the background, but there was no Knicks stuff on at the time, right? So I'm going through YouTube and I clicked on this video.
There's always Blorange Tears. Shout out to my guy Uncle Freezy.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, he's been running the airways all morning through night, but at this point he was not on. Okay, so he wasn't.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So I clicked on some channel because it said something about the trade that the Knicks need to make, right? And I was like, what is this about? And the person, I'm not saying the name because I'm never gonna give him any clout. I was disgusted. The guy's got like 60,000 followers, right? I'm like, what?
Okay.
So then I'm looking at the trade, and this video was like 11 minutes long, and it was a trade that included the Knicks trading Julius Randle to Phoenix for DeAndre Ayton. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, when did he do this? When was this done? And I'm looking at all the information, and this is like so outdated. And then he put other people in the trade, and like I'm like, these people have been moved. And then he said, and then also the Knicks will send Kemba Walker to the Celtics. I'm like, what?
It's like a few years back.
I couldn't believe this dude put this video out. 60,000 subscribers, and it's all trash. I'm like, what is wrong with people?
I love when people submit trades. You know, I get in my DMs at least like 15 trades. People are like, what do you think of this? Blah, blah, blah. When people put Luka Samanik, this guy is not even – he's not even on the team. He's playing for like the summer league for like I don't even know. But like – and I'll be like, he's not on the team. But he played for the Knicks, so why can't we trade him? It doesn't work like that. He does not have an active contract with the Knicks. He cannot trade him.
I blame that on Fanspo, because Fanspo still has no updates on their roster. So everyone's doing their what are those called?
The guy did. He looked at Fanspo and he saw that DeAndre Ayton is still available. And
you're really not paying. I guess those people are really not paying attention. Walker's still on the Knicks.
What folks do, they like to go to this. It's like a what do you call those things? Like a trade engine or something like that.
Yeah, trade machine.
And then so they don't update those things regularly. So folks just go to each team and they just grab folks just to make it work, and then you throw it on there. I listen, I'm gonna come clean. I've been a part of that. Me and Ron, I was sending stuff over to Ron. Just luckily it was private, and I was like, "Hey, look at this." He was like, "Dude, these guys are not on the squad no more, man. What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh man, forget that." So I've got.
I love when people try.
I hated to have to bring that up.
Other than people putting players that are not actually available, is not thinking through. Like, there's a rule in the NBA: you can't trade picks in consecutive years. So people are like, just trade 2023, 2024, 20. You can't do that. It has to be 2023, 2025, 2027. It's a stipend rule. So I love when people send me like, I'll send you the 2023, the 2024, 2025, and the other picks. Sir, you actually can't do that. There's a rule in the NBA handbook. You can't trade consecutive years. So I don't know.
Let's try that again.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the good thing I would say that's coming out of all of this, because a lot of times since the Knicks are always on the outside looking in, we do make a trade almost every year, but they're small trades. But we're on the outside looking in with these bigger moves. So certain things do pass us by. Like the average person doesn't pay attention to certain things, and even myself, like until I first heard it, I may not have known. I knew about the consecutive year thing, but like for example, I did not know. I know now, of course, but I didn't know that after you trade for somebody, you obviously can't move that person again for like 90 days. And that is one that keeps getting people, because people have come up with some really good trade ideas and packages. And I'm like, damn it, but we can't do it.
So there's like a little theory that I actually am starting to buy into. So stay with me. The Jazz just acquired Patrick Beverley in a trade with the Minnesota Timberwolves, as we all know. Mm-hmm. And there's a little birdie telling me on Twitter the Knicks and Jazz might be waiting. So you can't be traded for 90 days. People might be thinking they're waiting so Patrick Beverley can make his way to the Knicks. I don't know. I don't believe it, but it'll be interesting to see if that person was actually right, because I was like, I think they're just stalling on the talks. I don't think Pat Bev is holding up the trade, but it'll be interesting to see on the trade front that people can't be traded. Pat Bev to the Knicks? Question mark. That will be interesting. So,
well, I want to tell you that I think that little birdie is getting around, or there's other birdies out there, because I heard something similar that could be something that is there. There might be some truth to that.
I don't know.
I mean, that would definitely be nice.
I'll take Pat Bev. He's a great defender. He's great. I think he's a great leader. He'll be a good one in the locker room. But we already have so many guards. Why are we trying? Like, I guess if we trade Derrick Rose, there's so many options the Knicks can do.
Right. We
can't even predict it. All I want out of this offseason is a starting lineup of Brunson, Spida, RJ, Randall, Mitch. But I think that if we do get Spida, and I hate when people are like, oh, they're too small, they're 6'1". It's worked before in the league. It has. Look at the Jazz. Correct. Look at other teams. It's happened. So I'm not too worried about the size problem. But.
Well, I just want to say that, yeah, you got to play the game. You got to see what happens. My position and my stance on it is you can never have too many players at a certain position. You just have to be willing to make the decision. The Knicks did a horrible job last year of getting rid of players that were a logjam in certain areas when they should have, and they didn't do it. And now, hopefully they learn from it this year. So if you go into the season and you're able to bring in a Donovan Mitchell, and if you get blessed later down the line to bring in a Pat Beverly, listen, let me tell you something. Pat Beverly is better than probably 9 out of 10 other players you got on your bench. You bring that guy in, you know what he's bringing, and he's going to make your defense run. So he's worth it. You bring him in, and then you get rid of somebody else who just is not going to give you what Pat Beverly can give you. You just got to make a hard decision. It is what it is.
I agree.
The Knicks need to start making some hard decisions.
I didn't like how we signed. Looking back, happily, we re-signed Nerlens Noel, we re-signed Alec Burks, but we got off those contracts for the Detroit Pistons trade, which that was a mess. I don't know. Draft night was a complete mess for the New York Knicks. So much movement, but I think Leon, what we've seen so far is he really cleaned up his mistakes so far. Okay, maybe Alec Burks is not going to want to – the Knicks fans, or I think including myself, we don't want Alec Burks running the point guard. He's obviously not comfortable in that, and Thibs keeps pushing him to play that. So we take him away. Nerlens Noel, my problem with it, we've had some of our best quarters with Nerlens Noel, but he can't catch the ball. You guys know what I'm talking about. He has butterfingers sometimes, and that's okay. I'll be sitting on section 200. I'm like, catch the ball. And I saw one of the people in my DMs just like, why can't we get away from Butterhand Noel? And I'm like, we did, so there's no more complaining. After the draft, I was like, we got rid of him. What do you think? And he was like, he put a thumbs up. I was like, okay, now you're quiet. Now I see. So.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So if you guys are just tuning in, we're here rocking with Charlotte from Let's Talk Knicks. She runs a pop-in Twitter space account. She's got 4,000 followers. She's I would say at this point, one of the fastest growing Twitter spaces that handles Knick content, as well as there's some other good ones, out there. And hopefully maybe we'll get them on the show too. But, I definitely think that you guys should support what she's got going on, and she knows her stuff. She's passionate about the Knicks. Her family it's a generational Knick family. You can see the trophies in the back. She played ball. Look, she's real about it. And she went to a school that has orange in it. Come on, y'all.
That's right.
Go Orange.
Let's go. So before we wrap up and get out of here, I had a couple more questions I just wanted to throw out to you guys, see what your takes are, what you think about it. So I don't want to say it, but I have to say it. Come on, this is my job, guys. This is what I do. If we don't get Spida, what's next for the Knicks? Where do we turn? What do we do?
Let's go. It's all Charlotte.
Really good question.
Back.
Really good question. I think, let's say we don't get Spida, who go to either they keep him because Ainge is not getting the offer he wants, or he's traded to a different team. We're going to rock out with the guys we have. We got to see what the young guys have. Because when we're trying to trade these young guys, NBA execs don't know their value because they're not playing enough. We have Obi playing 12 minutes a game and then being yanked if he turns the ball over, it doesn't have one bad play. I think we'll be rocking out with the guys we have. Don't expect major moves. Maybe getting off Evan's salary, if you could see that. Just freeing up that shooting guard spot. And then you slide Grimes or Cam. I don't want to get into that debate, but you slide them in. We'll see. But I don't expect – if we don't get Spida, don't expect major moves. That's my take.
I could agree with that. That makes a lot of sense. What do you think, John? Same?
She said it all. That's 100%. I'm in agreement with that because I think that's what's going to happen. You gotta, and also you have to pay attention to how Tibbs wants to roll out this starting unit because depending on who he rolls out on the starting unit and who's the first 2 or 3 people off the bench, don't expect the rest of that bench to get playing time, right? And expect some of those individuals to wait and play as much minutes as they possibly can, whether it be 2-3 minutes, of time, until someone's trade value gets boosted for them to actually make a move during the regular season. But other than that, I think it's true exactly what Charlotte said.
Yeah, I think so too. The only thing I'm curious about is if the Spida talks do fall through, I think the Knicks will definitely stand pat. They won't do anything if he stays with Utah for now. Now, if something happens and Dark Horse comes Miami in and they won, and they trade him to Miami, I could see the Knicks possibly pivoting and maybe doing something that is not the same, and it will cost a lot less. Maybe working out a sign and trade with Cleveland for maybe a Colin Sexton, just to bring in a little bit more scoring punch. But you're going to have to give up a lot less, right? I was going to say one thing before you go, Charlotte. One pivot I would love. Oh, no, you're fine. One pivot that I would love, but it won't happen, is because it doesn't benefit them, is with now this new trade talks for Kevin Durant and Boston with Jaylen Brown. If the Knicks could jump into the Jaylen Brown sweepstakes, I would love it. But the problem is you're not offering Boston anything that they need.
Yeah.
That's the issue. That's not where they want to go. And that's, unfortunately, I'm saying this for the Knicks fans out there who think, well, if we're going for Donovan, why can't we just go get Jaylen Brown? Because Boston doesn't want anything we got. They're trying to win now.
We don't have Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant is different.
We don't have win now pieces. And I think also with the Knicks, we have to keep in mind, there is no other offer that is really beating ours except OKC in picks-wise. If they do get an offer from someone, I'm expecting Leon to go up. I am. I really am. I don't think he lets him go. If there's somewhere he's going to be traded, it's going to be in the Knicks. If Ainge calls him tomorrow and was like, hey, I got this deal from Miami, Leon goes to check with someone, like about the NBA office, if they really did submit an offer, he will add another pick. I really do believe in that.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. There is the potential of that Westbrook situation happening just for the salary dump like that. But it's going to be a hard time for all Knicks fans to just cope with that, for a season. He may be, but that's like an offshoot if Spida ends up going to a different, gets pulled by a different team. And that would take like a 2-3 team deal, right? Like,
yeah, you're going to see the rumored 4-team. Everyone's talking about the 4-team deal. The Lakers, the
hardest
Knicks.
thing to be done.
Ainge said in a report he wants to be a part of the biggest NBA trade ever. So if you could see a 4-team trade where you're sending Russell to the Jazz and I don't know, Kyrie to I don't really see this happening.
It's complicated.
But it gets very complicated very quick. And if a 4-team trade goes down, expect craziness everywhere because it affects the entire league because you got 2 teams in the Western Conference, 2 teams in the Eastern Conference. I don't even want to. It's just a headache. So.
And then nobody can be moved almost simultaneously, right?
Exactly. And if Kevin Durant there are multiple players you can't trade. For example, like Bam Adebayo can't be traded because there's like a certain rule with like the contracts or something, but there's a list of players that can't be traded for Kevin Durant. I think it includes Ben Simmons, Bam Adebayo, Donovan Mitchell. There's some other players on there, but if the Nets want to, I think if the Miami Heat want to trade for Kevin Durant, they have to move Bam. So I don't know.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. There's some wild
Crazy
stuff
stuff.
going on.
Yeah.
I think someone I don't know, someone said something. Oh, it was Alton Lee. Yeah, unfortunately, I think the NBA brass, for the most part, a lot of them, some people are probably finished with their little vacation, but a lot of people are still on vacation for this week. So maybe next week is the week that we really start to hear something. I don't know what to say. I hate to say it, but it could be true.
It was just Pioneer Day in Utah. It's like basically like kind of like the 4th of July for Utah. So I think people are still recovering from that. It's only a Monday. I'm sure these reports of like rumored teams was already planned out for a Monday. They always do this stuff. But I think that Danny Ainge was golfing with people the last week. So I don't know. It's just so confusing. I think by the time everyone gets from vacation, people will sit down at a table, go on a Zoom call, and figure it out. So we'll see.
So what we're trying to say is don't lose sleep over it. Go on with your day to day. Everything will happen when it needs to take place. Expect it before the beginning of the season. I would just expect it to, before we start this new season, expect something to occur. If it doesn't occur, then every team, both Utah and the Knicks, will stay impact, and then we will see. We'll move on from there.
And if Spida doesn't get traded, let's just say before training camp, he is a big one to be traded at the deadline. Now that's when it gets interesting because you'll have at least half a season to evaluate your young guys, and you'll be like, okay. Right. I'm willing now to give him up because I've seen what he can do. But then it also changes. Maybe Utah was watching him too and doesn't, I don't want him anymore. You're going to have to give up this guy now. And it just gets so complicated. That's why I want to get this deal done. If I'm Leon Rose, Brock Aller, I agree. You take the risk. You go get Spida. Just go get him. I understand if we're fighting over 2 first-round picks, I understand this office has drafted extremely well in the last couple of years. Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickley, great prospects. Even Jericho Sims in the second round. But I really just want Spida. I just want him so bad, but we'll see what happens.
Yep, I'm with you on that. Shout out to Nick Yak. He's like, this girl brings it. Yeah, man. Yeah. Shout out to
I'm joy to be on Twitter Spaces, but I'm trying to venture out into the YouTube world, but I'll gladly come back on Still Nick fans if you guys will have.
Yeah, definitely. We'd love to have you back. Without a doubt.
Open invite.
Appreciate you guys. Kerry Cooper in the building. Kareem Grant, the twin, is in the building. Luck Charm 22 is here. Appreciate you guys. I think I said it before, but Canal Band Laya is in the building. Always, I gotta mention my guy Canal. I think that this is just gonna have to be a wait and see thing, guys. I know it's driving everybody crazy, but you know what? We're still in the off season. No basketball is being played. When you know that things are gonna get hot and heavy, and we're gonna figure out exactly where we are right before training camp is about to start, which is coming up. But a lot of people don't feel anything is going to happen until right before training camp. So we just got to be patient and deal with it. Let the chips fall where they may. And hey, if Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving gets moved, fantastic. Because then you guys know nothing else is holding up Donovan, because he would be the next chip.
Right.
We'll see what happens, and I'm hoping for the best, man. I'm positive that my Knicks are finally doing something. I'm still on the fence because I love these young guys, and I just hope they don't give up the wrong ones. But you got to give up something to get something. I just have to deal with it.
Got to give to get.
Right on.
You got to. So once again, I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat, all the viewers. Thank you guys for tuning in and rocking with us. I want to give a special shout out to our special guest, Charlotte from Let's Talk Knicks.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, no, anytime. If you guys because that's the other thing. I mean, it's all about your comfort level. If you guys like getting on Twitter and want to be able to talk Knicks, or even if you just want to get on and listen, click on one of Let's Talk Knicks Twitter Spaces and just hear the conversation.
You don't have to talk. You can just listen. Again, I don't know, maybe some more viewers came in, but I have a big thing. If you request, unless we're not closing up shop, you're going to be able to talk. And that's okay if you want to listen your couple first times and be like, I just want to see how this goes. And you saw me on this YouTube channel or this podcast. And, I have a lot of people message me like, I was kind of nervous to talk. There was like kind of some screaming, and like, we usually have it under control. But if you want to check me out, it's at Let's Talk Knicks. It's right under there as thank you, Jose. But I think that we just come check out Twitter. It's very different from YouTube, multiple voices. And we have a good time. And I think if you request and you feel comfortable, come talk with us. We'll chop it up with anyone. And again, any take is valid unless you're talking some crazy stuff. You might get some flack, but overall, it's a good time.
Yeah, nice. Just gonna say, like, it's not for the faint of heart. I mean, if you trying to talk Knicks, try to stay on your point, stay on your P's and Q's, because you go in there, you could get cursed out. So I'm just saying, my
blood pressure can't take it. I'm over 40. I can't handle all that stress.
Shout out Nick Yak. Thank you for checking. I don't know. I think that's towards me. We checked you out. Yeah, appreciate it. Hit me with that follow button. Spaces mostly. I run spaces, I would say, almost every single day. Bringing on some sponsors. We'll see what happens with that. But looking to definitely make Let's Talk Knicks into a global brand. We have merch coming out. A lot of special projects coming out.
Very nice.
Dope. Well, once again, thank you for being with us, Charlotte. We appreciate having you. We're probably just going to close out the show now, but hang tight, and we'll just talk a little quick right after we wrap.
Of course.
But thank you guys, as always, for being here with us. We appreciate you. I can't tell you how much fun it is to be able to talk Knicks with people, like-minded individuals, and just, I wish I had. I can't. I'm always thinking about, like, where was this years ago, and how come I didn't know about it? How come I wasn't involved in this already? Damn it, John! If we would have talked earlier.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, I'm saying, I'm about to thank you. I appreciate you, brother. We should have talked
Thanks,
earlier,
John. Listen, we were talking Knicks already. It was just me pushing you over the edge and saying, dude, let's just do something.
It's okay. We're here now. Anyway, man, any final words, brother? Oh, go ahead.
This was your idea. Like, literally, you was giving me all of this information. I was like, dude, why don't you just start one? I don't want to do one. I had to come on in order for you to say yes to it. See how crazy life is?
See, that I'm thanking you for. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Anyway, I appreciate you, and you're doing a great job as always, man. So, I love being here with you.
Any final words, brother?
As always, stay blessed. Can't wait for the next one.
There you go. That's how he does it, man. John, you know what I mean? Stay blessed. How do I do this? So shout out to my man Jose on the ones and twos, holding us down. He can't do the sound effects right now. He's not hooked up. Anyway, so Jose, can you say a couple words to say hello to everybody?
You put him on the spot, man.
There he goes.
Hi. That's all.
Jose, man. The man of many words, folks. That's right. You come here for the dialogue, you ain't seen nothing yet. Anyway, thank you, Jose, for always holding us down, brother. We appreciate you wholeheartedly. This is a 3-pronged machine right here. So as I always say, guys, you know what? Thank you for supporting us. Tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still Knicks fans. We'll be back again. Stay tuned and look out for our show on Thursday, NBA Report on the Nothing But Knicks Network. As well as right after our Thursday show at 8 p.m., the Queen Steph is going to be throwing a special kind of introspective type show at 9:30, in which she's going to be talking to different content creators about content in our atmosphere, how it compares to ESPN, what we're trying to do, how we're trying to get the word out, voice things in a different way, and also if we're able to give the Knick organization, Knick fans, that opportunity to really voice how we feel and get recognized the way we don't feel we've been getting from the mainstream media. So it's going to be pretty dope. Definitely tune into that. That's 9:30.
We should try to get Charlotte on that show. That would be a nice one.
Interesting.
I'm down.
Let me see what I can do behind the scenes. All right,
let's do it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So definitely tune into that, guys. So the NBA report this Thursday at 8 p.m. and then the special show brought to you by the Queen Steph herself from MBK. But I think this is going to be under the Dope Soul Sports umbrella. So check that out. And then also don't forget Know the Ledge on Saturday at 11 a.m. So thank you guys. As always, we'll be rocking with you on the next one. It's been a pleasure. Thanks to Charlotte once again, our special guest. So you guys take it easy, man. Don't stress. The Knicks are going to do something or they're going to do nothing. There you go. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.